What can be said about Playdead's Limbo that hasn't already been said before?
I ship the boy and the spider.
Limbo, the first video game for both pretentious arty-ass avant-garde hipsters and emo kids. And also colorblind people. Limbo is a very classic, very, I guess, essential indie title. It came out in 2010, and it was one of the first big indie games to really explode in the mainstream, just after stuff like Braid, Flow, and World of Goo first got the public's attention and paved the way a few years earlier. But it's mostly remembered because there's a giant spider in it, and a lot of different ways to die.
They call me crazy, ooh, gotta be crazy, ooh.
Ow! No, there are probably worse ways to go.
This is the special edition. It comes with a little sticker. I bought this on Amazon. We're very happy together.
You never do quite forget the first time you ever play Limbo. You wake up as that strange ghostly-eyed boy in that strange ghostly forest. There's no explanation, there's no dialogue. You just move forward and slowly get absorbed by eerie ambient sound effects, a beautiful polished film noir-esque art style, and a dark, frightening, dangerous world. It always kind of reminded me of Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. All the gruesome, horrible ways Abe can die in that game. You feel so weak and insignificant. And that seems to be the theme of this genre, the cinematic platformer. Cinematic platformers seem to have 4 rules. You platform, you solve puzzles, you witness a side-scrolling cinematic story, and you watch your main character die in terrible ways. The most terrible way? Getting eaten by a worm in Heart of Darkness. That would be one shitty way to go. Unless you're into worms. Then I guess it's hot. But what sets Limbo apart from a lot of other cinematic platformers, aside from being all dark and Tim Burton-like, is that it's strictly arty and vague. There's no clear story, no clear reason for what's going on. The only premise given by the developers is a sentence that reads, "Uncertain of his sister's fate, a boy enters Limbo." So you're looking for your sister. Where is your sister? Well, hopefully that's not her. Or that'd be depressing. I don't know, maybe she was kidnapped by those evil Lord of the Flies kids. Who are those assholes anyway? And furthermore, what is this? What is this? Why is there death and destruction everywhere? Why is there a rain machine that makes the weather change? What is all this avant-garde bullshit? Well, make your way through the game and you'll be pleased to find you get no answers to any of your questions. At the end of Limbo, warning spoilers, after making your way past so many terrifying obstacles, the giant spider, the faceless children, maggots that control your mind, a hotel sign, you eventually reach the end of it all to find your sister, who gets startled. And that's it, that's the end.
The special edition also comes with 3D glasses for this black and white 2D experience.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the ending of Limbo. And personally, I used to not like it either. But this game is so polished, the puzzles are so clever, and the events are so entertaining and well-paced, it's impossible to assume the ending doesn't mean something. So everyone just kinda has their own little theory about it. Most people believe the little boy is actually dead, and he's lost in Limbo, religiously known as the Edge of Hell. Maybe he's on his way to heaven, or maybe he's trapped here forever, doomed to repeat the same journey over and over again. See, on the title screen, there's this treehouse visible on the right, and there's also a swarm of flies on the ground, as if there's a dead body lying there or something. At the end of the game, we see the same treehouse where the girl's hanging out. And it looks like before you arrive, she's actually burying, tending to, or maybe putting flowers over a dead body or a grave. So maybe the boy fell out of the treehouse, died, and now he's a spirit coming to terms with his death. Some say the sister might be dead too, but the boy also has white glowing eyes, which no one else in the game has. So I'd assume he's alone. But who knows, the game could be about anything, really. I mean, the developers of Playdead have gone on record saying they intended for it to be vague. But no matter what it means, I love Limbo. I love its grim vibe, its smooth, clever sense of pacing, and its engrossing, hopeless, depressing ambience. And speaking of depressing, you know what my favorite part of the whole game is? Most people would say their favorite part is the spider, but my favorite part is actually the fly. Remember the giant fly you encounter? Where you have to sneak up on it and basically rip its leg off? That part of the game always really gets me. Like, it makes me sad. I mean, earlier in the game, you were stalked by the spider, and lots of other sinister enemies that wanted to hurt you. But now, after all that's passed, here you are doing just what they did. You're hurting something else, something innocent that can't protect itself, just so you can progress further. No matter what it represents, to me it's the most powerful scene in the game. But you know what's even more powerful? Playdead's other game, Inside. Yes, just a few months ago, 6 years after Limbo was released, Playdead finally finished their second game, and it is absolutely amazing. Inside is a game with an even more haunting, even more empty atmosphere than Limbo. It's more polished, more specific, more tinged with realism. It's full of subtleties, amazing little touches, impressive animations, and still without using any words. It tells a much more complete, visually entertaining story.
The music's also good too. I like the song that goes. Oh wait, that's all of them.
Inside starts out very different from Limbo. It starts out with a young boy running through a dark forest. But really, it does become very different rather quickly, because soon, you suddenly see not a giant spider, but instead a bunch of humans being locked up and hauled away into a truck, all Holocaust-like. It's always Nazis. Another thing that makes this different from Limbo right away is just how tense and fast-paced it is. The moment these sinister-looking people first notice and start chasing after you, there's an eerie musical cue that just fires the experience with chills down your spine. So this little boy here is clearly somewhere he's not supposed to be. This world you're exploring seems to be largely abandoned or post-apocalyptic, and as you continue on your journey, it becomes evident you're making your way into some big place, where some weird big mind control experiment things are going on. And from here, it just gets weirder and weirder. If you haven't played the game, don't keep watching this video, just go play it. Because there's so much that happens in it, so much to reflect and wonder about. It's better to just experience it yourself. As funny as this sounds, Inside actually kind of reminds me of Resident Evil. Like, the whole story involves this seemingly evil corporation doing a bunch of mysterious, frightening experiments, some of which have taken on monstrous forms and escaped from their containment. And the game is also lonely and spooky like Resident Evil, housing so many empty, haunting science fiction environments that just bleed memories of the first time I ever played those old games. While the best thing about Limbo was probably presentation and polish, the best thing about Inside is mystery, and the effect you get after playing it. In fact, it's so weird, instead of talking about it any further, I'm just gonna list all the questions I have and all the thoughts I can think. Why are there pigs with mind control worms sticking out of their butts? Does this game take place in the same universe as Limbo? Do these zombified puppet people have souls? Were they actual normal people before they became puppet people? I think it's cool that random folks bring their families and children to come watch the puppet people. It makes me wonder, are the puppets somehow going to help save this post-apocalyptic world? Or are they just going to be used as slaves? Why is half the facility underwater? Is it because of these naked water creatures? Why are we suddenly outdoors yet simultaneously indoors? How deep underground is this forest? And how is it a forest? What is up with this explosion place? Is the facility testing a bomb? Are they harnessing energy? Or have they unleashed a portal to some ridiculous Lovecraftian dimension? This part of the game where everyone looks through the window is so darkly mystifying and well done. But why does nobody suddenly care that I snuck in and I'm here? Why do some of the scientists panic while some of them seem to be cheering me on when I get inside of the dark container? Did the boy want to be absorbed by the blob? Was the blob controlling me the whole time? Was some rebellious scientist under the cornfield controlling me the whole time? Was I controlling the boy the whole time while being controlled by the game to play the game the whole time? What drives a person to complete a game? Is control a real thing? Do people control people? Am I being controlled? Does the audience control me when I make a video, or do I control the audience? Did the blob really escape? Did it die? Why does this room look exactly like the blob's final resting place? Are we still inside the facility here? Is this whole thing just a test done by the corporation? Is freedom an illusion? Moral of the story, this game is depressing. And amazing. Except there's no giant spider, worst games are out of 10.
But it's okay. We still have each other. Do you want to try some kinky shit?